All right, as we all know, the Los Angeles Clippers made the organizational move to move on from Blake Griffin, start this thing completely over, and they traded their centerpiece of their franchise, maybe a top 3 important piece to the Los Angeles Clippers franchise ever, and they traded Blake Griffin. Nobody's mad at that. You want to move in a different direction? Should Blake have found out on Twitter? Probably not. Should you not have traded a guy that you just signed about 5 months ago for $175 million? Maybe not, maybe so. But nevertheless, the trade is done. The Clippers now have Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, and a pick. And the Detroit Pistons have a guy for the next 5 years that's locked in. All right? I think the biggest development of this trade is not any of the moving parts. That trade is done. Whatever. Now, we finding out more details about the days leading up to the actual Clippers-Pistons trade. Who did the Clippers try to shop Blake Griffin to? And I think this is very interesting, and a lot of people don't know this. Reportedly, the Clippers offered Blake Griffin to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Paul George, and the Thunder said no. That means a lot. That is probably the most important thing that's happened in the NBA season in the last month. That means a lot. What is that telling you? That means the Thunder, if they're not going to take that trade, you're not getting an all-star level talent like Blake Griffin every day. Say what you want about Blake, he's injury prone, but that brother is an all-star when healthy. That's the best trade the Thunder will get at the deadline for Paul George. Remember, Paul George is a free agent this summer. If he wants to, he has a player option. We all believe he's going to exercise that option, become an unrestricted free agent. He has Los Angeles roots. Maybe he wants to join the Lakers. He's expressed his interest to play for a team that he's always loved his entire life. We'll see. He said if the Thunder can make it to the Western Conference Finals, he'll stick around. We'll see. He seems pretty sold on staying in Oklahoma City right now. But with Blake Griffin, he has roots in the Oklahoma area. Never forget, Blake Griffin hit the scene nationally with his stellar play at Oklahoma as him and his brother Taylor Griffin lit the Sooners on fire for that one spectacular season. Blake Griffin is a special player, and he has special ties to the Oklahoma area. If the Thunder were going to make a move that would appease their fan base, you go after Blake, right? So if the Thunder are not going to trade Paul for Blake, they're not going to trade Paul at the deadline at all. And again, if you're the Thunder, you could be anywhere from 4th to 6th in the Western Conference. Paul George is an all-star this year. The chemistry with him and Westbrook seems to be growing. He leads the NBA in steals. He's not injury prone like Blake. Maybe you believe you got a great chance at signing Paul George outright to a long-term deal this summer. But if you're a team like the Cavs, you know LeBron wants you to make a move. Trust me, the Thunder are not going to take back that pick from the Cavs, which is Brooklyn's pick, which could potentially be a top 5 pick. But right now, Brooklyn's like the 8th or 9th worst team. They're not going to take that pick if they decline an offer for a guy who's an all-star already in Blake Griffin, and he's signed for the future. You're Oklahoma City. You can't sign top-tier talent. You can't convince them to come to Oklahoma City. If you would have traded for Blake Griffin, you had a guy locked in for the next 4 to 5 years in his town of Oklahoma. You must be pretty sure that your team is going to exceed in the playoffs, which would keep Paul George there, or that Paul George has already set in his mind that he wants to remain an Oklahoma City Thunder in the future. That is the biggest headline to come out of this. A guy who's a top 15 player is probably going to be settled in Oklahoma City going forward, or at least the Thunder believe they can keep him settled in Oklahoma City, and the Clippers tried their best to land Paul George in Los Angeles, not with the Lakers like he wanted to be, but get him at least in his hometown of California and get him in that area and see if you can convince him to stay with the Clippers. And the Thunder will not budge it. That's a big development in the NBA trade deadline to know that Paul George will not be on the market.